Right, and December is hurtling on, and today's stocking filler tip, my gosh, isn't it a fancy stocking? Very baroque, all these little dangly things here, is unbelievably your second phase. Books make fantastic stocking fillers, and this one is a great one. Remember it, your second phase. So today's stocking filler tip is for all you managers out there. Now, quite often, menopause has been something that we just would not talk about. Never mind at work, definitely not socially. But that's changing, and there are more and more women at work, which means that it is something that we are going to have to incorporate. Now, managers quite often are promoted into a place of seniority because they are functionally excellent, which means they're fab at what they do. But the skills that they need in order to effectively manage people are very different to the day-to-day job, which is why many organisations invest heavily in their management training. Now, in fact, it's something that you can define an organisation by. So if they value their employees and they value how their employees feel at work, then quite often there is a heavy investment in training itself. And for those that don't, no surprise there, then it reflects in their training budget. But what will happen is that for those organisations that don't value their staff, that don't train their managers, and that don't incorporate issues such as the menopause, then information like that will be apparent both internally and externally through systems such as Glassdoor, where all the dirty washing of your organisation is made very visible indeed. So it is time to start to think as a manager what it is that you need to do in order to support the women in your team. Now, the first thing to do is to go and find out if there is a policy or a guideline for menopause. Now, remember, a policy and guideline is only as good as the people who wrote it and how it's implemented. So it may be time to take a look at it because, quite frankly, let's face it, the working environment has changed slightly since the beginning of this year. So take a look at your policy, your guidelines, see how applicable they are, see if they need amending, and activate that if they do. Next, make the women in your team fully aware of those policies, those guidelines, and the adjustments that might be available to them should they need that support. And make it readily available to them. Be aware of what the menopause is and make those those items of support and adjustment available when they need them. Without questioning, without going through some kind of torture in order to get them. Lastly, educate your team. Menopause is only an uncomfortable issue if we don't talk about it. It's only a taboo if we allow it to be. So let's get talking about it. Educate your entire team, male and female, so that not only can they recognise what the menopause is and understand it for just a simple fact of life, but also that it can be a wider support network for the women as they pass through this phase of life, because you do come out the other side. It's not there forever. This is something that can make you into a great manager because you understand what is needed for your staff and ensure that it's there. The level of cohesion and team spirit that doing something like supporting your women through menopause that's available by doing that is huge. But more than anything, it's the right thing to do. as a manager to ensure that you support the members of your team. And remember, your second phase, it's available from all book retailers, and I'll put a link in the comments below. It's packed full of tips for you as a manager and for the women in your team. Go and get yourself a copy. Remember, they fit beautifully inside the stocking, and I will see you soon.